I'm Jose,
I'm Leeann.
and we are Two Most Wanted. Hi, gay. It's me. It's just one gay today, unfortunately, as well. I'm really sorry. We're really hustling out here in these streets, and it's just me today. And I'm really sorry about last week. It was so serious. Didn't anticipate it. I was when I was editing through it, I just thought, wow, there's no like haha. There should be a little more haha in the day. So sorry about that. But yes, today I am by myself. And yesterday, God, it wasn't yesterday, it was literally a week ago that we talked about hustling and all the jobs with the hustling and the things and the tire and the things. And I actually got some nice questions back, which is really cool. And some random questions that I thought were kind of hilarious. So today's kind of like a Q&A episode with just little old me. Little old me with some little old questions. And let's see. Okay, so the first one is right off the bat. Oh, first of all, how are you? How are you? How's your week been? My week has been just work-filled. Just everything between every exhausting job and adulting. Adulting's a lot of work. I'm really exhausted. I mean, everyone's exhausted. You can literally go into any fucking TikTok and see somebody ranting about, unfortunately, of like how much they make and how much ends are not meeting and things like that. And it really fucking sucks. I go through this rabbit hole. Okay, this is complete sidebar. But I go through this rabbit hole. My guilty pleasure. There was a time where my guilty pleasure was watching the Kardashians. Like back in the day when it was called Keeping Up. Now it's just called the Kardashians. It was my guilty pleasure. But it was also like my way of decompressing while cleaning. Like just to have another voice in the house. I know that sounds really weird, but welcome to my world. It's called weird. And I would guiltedly watch the Kardashians. I couldn't tell you what narrative from one to the other. It was literally background noise. But anyway, that's evolved. I love watching the Kardashians now. I know, judge me if you want. Who cares? But now my new guilty pleasure is going on the Twitters. Or it's called X now, right? Is it called X? Anyway, I call it the Twitters. I go into the Twitters. That's my morning. I don't know about you guys. When I wake up, dreadfully enough, I pick up my phone. It's the first thing I do. I know I shan't. I know I shouldn't. Don't judge me. We judge each other. Welcome to the show. But I pick up my phone, and the first thing I go to is my newspaper, which is the Twitters. I want to know what's going on in the world. And also, what shenanigans is going on in around my block? No, because none of this happens on my block. But anyway, I go on the Twitters, and I guess it caters to your algorithm. I'm still, I have an understanding of how social media works, but it all caters to your algorithm. So you watch one thing, and then blah blah blah. I don't need to explain this to any of you. And if you can explain it to me, fucking do it. But yes, so I'm on the Twitters. I'm on my morning news, and recently I've been getting a lot of posts from. They post like TikTok stuff on the Twitters. Oh my god, I sound so ancient. I am ancient. Welcome. They post all these TikTok things on the Twitters, and recently it's been I had this influx of. I don't know what generation they are, but they're younger generation. I would say they're in their early 20s, maybe no more than 25. Going off on recently this morning I saw one of this young girl. She's in her car. She has to be maybe 23, no more than 25. Dressed well, I think she was saying how she left work after working an 8-hour shift, and she went onto the Walmarts and bought a bra because her underwear broke. Long story short, she had like $50 to her name when she went to the Walmart. And then after she bought like 4 items that were like $40, now she has 10, and she has 10 for like the rest of the week until she gets paid, and blah, 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 blah. And then she goes on into saying, I guess she was ranting, rightfully so, tough times, tough economy, I'm assuming what would be the boomers based on what I'm about to tell you next, to the boomers of oh, you guys fucked up the economy. It was great for you, and then you left, and and now it's shit for the rest of us. And of course, naturally, when you're on the Twitters, for those of you who've never been on the Twitters, which is, I'm like, why? Honestly, why? Even though there is news that happens in real time, but it's also the landfill of the internet, in my opinion. It is the landfill. I do not partake, like I don't comment. I just read. I just observe. Do what I do best. I observe. Um, and I just read the comments, which is vile, volatile, disgusting. Like a lot of it is like this is where all this hate is generated. To be honest, again, the landfill of the internets. So I go through the context. I already know. I don't know about you, but I fucking love to emotionally cut myself from time to time. A lot of the time, I don't know why. I do know why. We're not gonna get into that, but you know when you go into something and you know what's going to happen. You know what people are going to say. It's the equivalent of someone saying, "I'm sorry, but bitch, you're not sorry. You're not sorry. You're not sorry, you stupid hoe. You're not sorry." So anyway, I go on the comments knowing full well the context of what she's talking about, unfortunately, and I know what the response is, but you know what? Let me cut myself this morning. So I go in and I'm reading the comments, and it's this back and forth of like other, I guess you could call them boomers, saying, you know, you basically made poor life choices to which is why you're where you are, or you're not saving money. And the general consensus is that no one's really understanding how inflation works. Like someone, I read one comment that just tickled me pink. It's not really funny. It's more like mathematically funny, I guess. I'm not a mathematician, so don't get me started with numbers. But anyway, the comment says, the guy said, or a person, I don't know, gender, I don't see color either. They said something about like I used to work at a hamburger place making $1.75 and I was still able to do XYZ. And then someone commented below and I'm like, you do realize that yes, you worked at a place for $1.75 where hamburgers cost like 17 cents. Now a hamburger costs like $5.25. I don't know where they're getting a hamburger for $5.25 because in New York City, that shit ain't happening. Ain't no burger. Burgers at least cost, honestly, somewhere between 12 to 15 for not a fast food burger. I haven't had like a fast food burger in a while, but like a decent. I've had an amazing burger that was brought to me by Sarah. Sarah is one of my really good friends, and it's at the Red Hook Tavern. And it is an amazing burger. I think it's like 20, somewhere between $25. Insane. I know. It is the most white bread thing I could ever do. But it was so good. There was no condiments on it. It was just an onion, a patty. I think it had cheese and a bun. But and this is coming from someone who I put condiments on my burger. I must. So to have a burger with no condiment is blasphemous, yet incredible from this particular place. I've never done this ever again. But either way, nobody's paying $5 for a burger and much less 75 cents. So the idea of like people not understanding how inflation works, like very quick side note, my parents, I'm first generation American. And so my family has been here since like the 70s. And they put aside a little college fund for me. And when I was done with high school, first I was done with school because I knew that I wanted to get into film, and so I knew what I wanted to do. So to me, there was no sense of going to college per se. To me, college, in my opinion, is when you really don't have an idea of what you want to do, or you have an idea of what you want to do, and it requires college, right? So anyway, my family, my parents put aside like a little college fund, and when I got it, it was like $4,000, and I thought, where do you expect me to go to college? Like at the bodega? Because college is not costing $4,000. $4,000 would barely get me through a school semester. What I did with that money was I bought my first camera, to which I filmed my pilot with, the one that I talked about, sadly, last week, that I'm so sorry that it was such a downer episode. But yes, So where was I going with this story? I don't know. Inflation, horrible. Economy, horrible. My week, great. I just really busy, insanely busy. And I hope you had a good week too. And great segue to this next question. So this question says, if naps were an Olympic sport, where would you place? Um, I wish I took more fucking naps. I'm not a nap person. I really am not. Like, I want to be. I want to be, especially now because I'm older. Okay, so 40, and I've recently started to feel like little nappies throughout the day. And I'm thinking, like, I just slept like 7.5 hours. Like, I slept my hours. Why am I taking a nap like middle of the day? And then I realized maybe it's an old thing. Maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just an aging thing, not an old thing, but like an aging thing. And I don't usually take naps because I don't know about you, but me, I get disoriented when I take a nap. I don't know what it is. And I've heard that like a healthy nap is somewhere between, is it like 15 to 30 minutes? Like you don't want to sleep more than 30 minutes because then I guess you get into deep sleep or whatever. I've done both, and they never feel super restful, and I always wake up disoriented and hungry. And disoriented in like, I don't know what day it is. What time is it? Like, I just feel disoriented. And then I'm hungry. Like, I am the worst. Like the kind of hunger that hits you like right after the gym, and this always happens to me all the time. I'll do grocery shopping, which is the worst time to ever do grocery shopping is when you are hungry, Mary. So, of course, that's what I do. And I come home and I always buy a bag of chips, and always half of that fucking bag of chips is gone before I even make my meal that I'm gonna eat. I'm sick. So, no, I don't take naps. I don't know. I guess I would be last place. I don't think I'd even qualify. That's how bad I am at naps. Like, I would want to be a gold medalist in the nappies. Oh, whoa, trigger. Um, yeah, I wouldn't qualify. So I'm so sorry. What? Oh, what's your quote, I'm too tired for this moment of this year? Ooh, girl. Can I say the entire year? The entire whole ass year has been, I am too tired for this. We covered this last week. This doesn't even qualify as a question. This is literally the topic of last week's episode. I am too tired for this. So this entire year, everything has been too exhausting. This economy, this administration, this weather, Mary, so sorry for that. The weather has been insane in the membrane. Like this heat, it's heat. I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago in New York, it was fall weather. Like I was at work. I work at a rooftop bar, and it's pretty high up. It's like on the 46th floor, um, overseas Central Park kind of thing, and it was brick. For those of you who are not from New York and don't understand the term brick, it means freezing. It was cold. It was windy, and you're wearing summer apparel because it's, oh, I don't know, summer. And the fall just happened to just trickle on in, and I was freezing my nipples off. So, yeah, not this weather has been, and then it was like 90 degrees, and then I got sick. So, hello, weather, everything. I'm too tired for everything right now, but I'm recuperating. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. Did you ever hit a point where you were like, quote, maybe this just isn't going to happen? What made you pull out of that? Oh, I remember this question. This question was geared towards when I was making the pilot. They said, what, yeah, did you have like, is this not going to happen? I had that from the beginning. Like, not necessarily that it wasn't going to happen. I'm sure this can relate to literally anyone on your first day at school or your first time at work or something where you're like, what did I get myself into? I had that moment where I was like, what? It was my first scene that I was filming. I was also directing it. So I wasn't in it, but I was directing it. And it was one of the most intimate scenes in the pilot. And granted, we didn't have a rehearsal. We had like a very technical rehearsal, which means is you're basically practicing your blocking, understanding where the camera is, your orientation from the actor's perspective, and blah blah blah. But you don't have like a proper rehearsal of the dialogue, and like we didn't have one, unfortunately. And the cast was kind of essentially meeting for the first time. So it's like it's a lot happening, and again, didn't go about it very smart. It was my first time, and in the right before we start, I think it was after we filmed the scene that took forever because of technicals, because moving cameras, moving lights, this and that and the other. There was a moment where I thought, what did I get myself into? Like, holy fuck, I bit off way more than I can chew. This is one of many scenes. Like, this is the beginning. Excuse me, just burped and also vomited in my mouth. I'm so sorry. Anxiety. Um, it was one of the, yeah, I had that moment where I was just like, what did I get myself into? Holy shit. And then it was all in my head, like that whole conversation. And then I told myself to snap out of it. I was like, all right, we don't go backwards. We have to move forwards. We can do this. And it was kind of that. But there were certainly a lot of hiccups where I thought, what did I get myself into? But the question is, maybe it just wasn't going to happen. There's certain moments like that. I don't let that's a lot of background noise, to be honest. When I get those kind of negative thoughts, I kind of lower the volume in the background of that background noise so that it doesn't bother me as much, but it's always there. It's always that what if. And as a recovering what ifer, we filter out those sounds. So yeah. Small talk with strangers or small talk with coworkers. How about none? Like, I don't do small talk. I don't know how to have it. I don't care for it. It feels vapid, in my opinion. It feels vapid to have small talk. Um, I remember there was a time where I always feel like I'm socially awkward. I think it's kind of like body dysmorphia. Like growing up being thick and being called solid, that does nothing for your self-esteem. So as you get older, you always see yourself as that little fat kid, right? And the same thing with, I would say, social anxiety. Like I was socially awkward growing up. I didn't know how to socialize. And then I got better at it with practice and work and all the other things. But in your head, you always feel like you're socially awkward. I think that's where that comes from. And so for me, in my back of my head, I'm like, yeah, I kind of feel like I'm socially awkward. But in reality, I don't think I am because I can have a conversation. I'm talking to no one right now. I mean, not that you're no one, but you get what I mean. Like I'm literally doing this by myself and there's nobody in the room other than my plants, my 19 plants. Hello, my guest audience, my studio audience, everyone, my plants. Um, yes, I always feel a little socially awkward. So that being said, small talk always feels weird to me. It feels like you're trying to get to know someone, but in the same hand, you don't care to get to know someone, if you know what I'm saying. And I really don't need to know everyone. Like, to be honest, I really don't. I'm cut from that old school cloth that I don't need to like you to work with you. This is referencing obviously coworkers. I don't need to like you to get along with you. I don't need to know every facet of your life to work with you. Like, I just know that I can hold a level of professionalism where I can do my job. As long as you do yours, we're five by five. If it's strangers, to be quite frank, I don't talk to strangers. I know, crazy. You know what I find to be personally crazy? Okay, I have a lot of international friends that moved to New York. A lot of them are French. But that being said, this is not a qualifier. It's just something that I've observed. But anyway, a lot of them have said how they've met on the train, like on the subway, Mary, the subway. They're meeting friends, and I said, how is this? How? And they tell me how they just literally talk to each other, like they were sitting right next, and they start a conversation. And I said, that's insane. You anyone talks on the train to just strangers, people whom you don't know. That is wild to me. This is because this is my old school mentality. And old mentality, more like survival skills that I was taught as a child. Don't talk to anyone on the train. Don't make eye contact with anyone on the train unless you want to fuck around and findeth out. That's what's happening here. And so I don't think I don't think I have. I don't think I've met a soul on the train. Nope, much less carry a conversation with a stranger on the train. But I'm also a loner. So, I mean, are we picking and choosing here? I don't know. I don't know. But it's so yeah, I don't make small talk with strangers or with coworkers. Um if I want to talk to you, I will talk to you. If I don't, I don't. Um if we're in an elevator, I will linger in that awkward silence. I love my life is an awkward silence. It's fine by me. So yeah. Okay. If your what? If your 13-year film project was a relationship, what kind of toxic ex would it be? Aw, no, it's not a toxic ex. Oh no, I was gonna make just the wildest domestic violence joke ever, but no, don't do it. Don't say it. Anyway, what would no? It wouldn't be a toxic ex. It would not be. Would it be a toxic ex? Oh my God, am I in a toxic relationship? I don't think we're in a toxic relationship. We're certainly. I would say. What would I say? What would I label it? Oh my God. Okay, wait. I would. Okay, my first thought, like the one that popped into my head as I read this question, was it reminds me of a relationship where you guys liked each other. No, you guys loved each other, and then you fell out of love, and then you grew back to love to liking to loving each other, and then it kind of became like, and then you guys went to couples therapy because things just weren't sitting right. Like you guys had met at one era in your life, and you guys had evolved and changed as things happen in relationships, right? And you go to, I was going to say family counsel, but that's not family. It's like couples therapy. You go to or marriage counsel. You go to a marriage counsel because you got married. Hello, it's me. You get married and you go to a marriage counselor, and then you work out your differences, right? And that's where we are, where we've gone to a marriage counselor and we've worked out our differences and now we are stronger, better than ever. However, it's been a rocky road to get to where we are right now. That's what I. So, are we a toxic relationship? No, we're just a typical marriage. There you have it. Okay. What is your ultimate what? What is your ultimate guilt-free doing nothing fantasy day? Oh, I'm about to geek out. Oh, I'm about to geek the fuck out. All right. You ready to get geeked? So my guilt-free doing nothing? Oh my God, I can't believe I'm saying this. It's not dramatic. It's not like kinky or something. It's just like weird. Okay. So I love video games. I've been playing them since forever. Like I go back as like the Atari. Y'all don't know the Atari. If you don't know what it is, Google it. I'm not gonna even explain it. To go from that to like a PS5. I've always been a PlayStation head. All you gamers out there, you understand. Anyway, my lazy day? Okay. I love an open world game. And for those of you who don't know what an open world game is, it's basically a video game that okay, like Grand Theft Auto. Oh God, I don't know. Some of you may not even know what that is. Okay, so an open world game is basically a game where you are usually games are very narrative, right? So you go from point A to point B, so on and so forth. Like it's very structured. An open world game is quite the opposite. It's you have this digital landscape where you're able to go from point A to point B to your liking, to your choosing, or you can just dick around and just walk around in this environment. Usually it's a city and it's a large city, right? So let's say a video game where you get to play in the island of Manhattan, right? So you can literally go to anywhere. You can't go into shops and stuff. We're not there yet, but you get to walk around Manhattan at your free will. And then there's story points kind of sprinkled throughout the, oh, what is that? Oh, the bitches are fighting. Dogs are fighting in the hallway. Oh, violence. I'm so sorry about that. Anyway, we got sidetracked. So, yes, you're in Manhattan and you get to walk around, and then the story points are there, but you get to go at them at your leisure, right? You don't have to. You can literally walk around this game, right? So that's essentially an open world game, right? And I've played many and I love them. And I'm such a history geek. Like I love history. So there is this game franchise called Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed is basically not going to get to the story of it, but basically each game they have like about maybe 8 games, and each one takes place in a historical point in time. So you have ancient Egypt, you have Japan during, I think it's the Edo period. I don't think so, but close enough. You have one in ancient Greece. You have one during the oh God, what was that time in Italy that I can't remember? The Renaissance. So you have all these historical periods, and what I love about these games, they're so attention to detail that they look into the historical architecture, lifestyle, like they cultivate this history lesson in a game. And so I love just walking around. Oh my God, walking around and just looking at the architecture, looking at the people, looking at the life. Like it's almost like a digital simulation of that time period. And I love walking around right now. So right now, Assassin's Creed has Assassin's Creed Shadows that is in Japan during a feudal era, excuse me. And I'm just walking around looking at the architecture. I'm walking around being a tourist, which is sad. It's so sad. It's so sad. But it's what I love. I've Red Dead Redemption, which is a game that was set in the Wild West period. And I'm just like going through nature. I remember doing that during COVID. Remember COVID? That little thing that happened a couple years ago where everyone was locked the fuck up in their own home and you couldn't go outside. If you went outside, I remember I would ride my bike and I got so much shit. They're like, there is a plague happening. And I'm like, you don't understand how air works, but sure, I get it. Because I needed to get out of the house. I couldn't be inside. I was getting cabin fever. But anyway, I would go and play these games to get a sense of being outside because I couldn't go outside. And for those who don't remember, in New York, it was kind of like late winter into spring. So it was still really cold outside to go outside. So to play these games, it was kind of like my way to escape being locked in my apartment. I can just go out and go to ancient Greece and be like, I'm at that beach. And so that's still my guilty pleasure. I still love doing that. Like I still love walking around in the game just to go for a walk and just to it's sad, I know. Oh my God. Can't believe I just said that. Okay, moving on. What advice would you give would what advice would you give past you during year 5 of that project when things felt stuck or uncertain? Oh, wait, what? What advice would you give past you during year 5 of that project when things felt stuck and uncertain? What advice would I give? Um, God, there's not much other than like patience and shit, but that kind of comes with the territory, don't you think? The advice that I would give myself when I felt stuck or uncertain. You know, one thing that I did learn throughout this that has given me a lot of grace, and it's something that I apply not only to working on this project, but to life in general. Excuse me. I don't know. I don't know what your oh God, what is that called? Beliefs, right? Beliefs are. But mine, I mean, I keep them to myself, but I'm very spiritual and I believe in divine timing, in that what is meant for you is for you. And what it's not is not. And you shouldn't fight for what's not yours. And for me in my instance, life has shown me many instances where I try to pursue something and I know that it's not for me and it's very clear and evident, but because the ego's there and I want it, I just keep pushing forward and it just makes it that much harder, right? And to me that tells me that is not meant for me, therefore I should stop. And with this project, I never received that. I never received that kind of moment, instance, or experience because everything that I've learned during this process of making this film is growth. I've grown so much from it. I've learned so much of my craft. So there was never an instance where there was pushback leading that I should not be doing this because there was always room for improvement, right? So in terms of advice that I would give myself, other than patience and give yourself so much grace, but I would say, you know what? I don't know. What advice would I say to myself? 5-year project when things felt stuck or uncertain. Did I ever feel stuck? No. I never felt stuck. I felt like I was constantly going through, like, just jumping these obstacles one after the other. Like, if it wasn't losing data, if it wasn't um, things taking forever and things not visually working out the way I wanted them to because they didn't look the way I wanted them to. But I never felt stuck. Even now, I don't feel stuck. Right now, I'm like finishing it up to then pitch meaning sell. Um, and I still don't feel stuck. No, or uncertain. No. I kind of believe in it. I believe in it. I feel like I'm the only one who believes in it, but also not everyone else knows about it. It's not something that I like gathered my friends. I'm like, I'm working on this. Maybe that's what I should do. But I never really did that. I've again going back to the thing of, like, you're the little fat kid and you're always going to see yourself as a little fat kid. I've always seen myself alone. I've been alone since I was a kid. I'm an only child. So in my mind, I don't think to say these things to other people because I'm like, oh no, it's just me. So it's not like a feel bad for me kind of thing. It's more like it's kind of like my brain is wired that way, and I have to learn new ways to go about things. And I'm learning that now at the ripe old age of 40. Lovely. Love that for me. So yeah, I wouldn't, I mean, I guess that's the advice that I would give myself. Interesting. Someone saw the final product. Would they even know the blood, sweat, and tears burnout that you went? No, absolutely not. I don't even have to finish that question. Would someone know the amount of work that I went through? No, absolutely not. But that kind of goes back into me not saying, or not being open to my friends about what I do and how I did it. Like, I said this to Leeann not too long ago when we were talking about this, where I was having this is what brought on last week's episode. We discussed it weeks ago in terms of themes and topics, and I told her that I was at a place where I feel so burned out and no one understands what I've been through. And I think a lot of people can relate to that, whether it's the amount of work you do or the amount of things that you have on your plate and the amount of pressure that you have. And we always kind of save grace for the public. At least that's how I was raised, right? Best foot forward and don't talk about the things. But then you bottle that shit up and then you explode, like I tend to do. And I'm learning to not do that. Anyway, and I'm working through that. That's really tough. That one's really tough. But anyway, um, yeah, I didn't talk to anyone about it. And what I was telling Leanne was, when you look at my body of work, it looks so effortless that you think there's no effort behind it. And that's what kills me, right? Because people just think, well, yeah, you just throw it up on there and just, there you go, it's done. I'm like, no, there's so much work that went into it. And and watching a lot of other, I know it sounds so pretentious to say it this way, artisans do their work, and you see how they do it, and you look at small details and you think to yourself, why would you even bother to do that? No one's going to notice it. But yet it makes a whole difference when you look at the finished product, right? And many artisans do that. Oh God, artists. I'm so sorry. It just sounds so pretentious. It makes me want to vomit in my mouth. But you get what I'm saying here. I hope you do. So there's a lot of things that a lot of details that went into this that, yes, at first you wouldn't think, why would you even bother? And then you look at it and you're like, but it would be so different without it. So there's a lot of things like that. There's a lot of obvious things, for example, this podcast. I edit it audibly, visually, all the things. It's a lot of work that goes into that. But the idea is that you want to make it look seamless. But in reality, it's really tough. Oh, I have one that's very relatable. Social media. I am not great at social media. I'm not good at it. I've never wanted to be. I mean, I do want to be good at it, but I never thought twice about it, because I thought you're just posting a photo and doing that. No, there's so much work that goes into social media. And those who do it, the influencers, or I guess they're called influencers, right? Who do it, yeah, it looks easy, but I'm sure there's so much hard work that goes into it. So much hard work, especially if you're working by yourself. I mean, I'm starting to get to know that now, and not necessarily by yourself, but like working on something where it has to live on social media, this podcast. It is a lot of work. And it's in some cases it's a full-time job. So and of course, who has the time in this economy to do this? So yeah, I see it from both spectrums now. Before I was kind of seeing it just from my perspective and like, yeah, no one appreciates what I do and it's fucked, which is true. But then also I see it from the other opposite spectrum of those who are in the social medias, and I'm like, wow, you guys work really hard. It doesn't seem that way because theoretically you're just putting up a photo, adding a hashtag, goodbye. There's so much more to it. Same thing in my case of filmmaking. You know, you think, well, yeah, you film something, you throw it right back up there and you're fine. No, there's so much more work that goes into it. Than the idea is to make it look easy. Well, not really the idea. If you're really good, my belief is that if you're really good at what you do, it looks easy. That's really it. So yeah, that's someone, yeah, they wouldn't know the blood, sweat, and tears and burnout that I went through to get there, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah. All right, so those are the questions that I got. So those are really interesting. So I hope you have a good week. I will have a good week as well. We're gonna manifest this week and take it all easy. And until next time. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. We put out new visual episodes every Friday right here on YouTube. And if you want to listen a week earlier, tune in every Tuesday on Spotify under 2 Most Wanted. And remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Or just watch one of our older videos. I suggest the one about kink because why not? It's Friday. It's your weekend. Do you? Yes, do it. Do it now. Thank you.